Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Coding on Swiboe, the next generation text editor. No top of the show business today. We can get right to work. What kind of work are we going to do today? Let's check the to-dos. I think we don't have no comms anymore, right? Yes, only to-dos. This one I cannot fix Windows support right now. We can only connect to Unix domain sockets. We have to fix that eventually, but I'm not wanting to do that in the first iteration. So we need to wrap client context, try receive, and cancel. That shouldn't be too hard. So where is receive actually? Yeah, it will probably look very much the same like that, right? We call receive, and then we either get something back, right? So we probably will pull that one out into a function, but otherwise that should look very much the same. Very much the same. Okay, of course it is called try receive, right? And here instead, like this is the same, we expect this to be null pointer. Don't actually need to mention that. Then we transmute the context to a reference so that we don't accidentally free it, and then here we call try receive. And let's have a look at the client RPC client, I guess. What is try receive returning? It is returning a result to an option exactly the same that receive is actually returning. Wonderful. So this should work. That should already be all that we need. And in the test, we of course also have to define this function. And it will look exactly the same as try receive. Well, receive and try receive have exactly the same API. Is that true? Yes? Yes, wonderful. And does that build? It does build, but of course we have no test that actually tests try receive. So we can, I guess we can just call try receive anywhere, right? Like a simple RPC here, test call successful RPC. And here we call the RPC. This gives us back a client context. Yeah. And then we call wait on that, but we can just as well just call real quick try receive. Self okay. Self library Swiboe context try receive. And it takes a client context and it takes C types by ref try receive result. That should work. Then we need to define try receive result, and that is a C types C char pointer, right? And so that should be okay, right? I mean, it returns okay, is it? Is it not? So we call try receive, we get an error, and if it is empty, we return nothing. Yeah, so it should be okay. Let's add a comment here. We do not expect any data to be streamed, so this should return nothing. And this is try receive should return nothing. So we call try receive, and then we check that self assert equal that try receive result value is actually none. And then, just to be extra sure, we still call Swiboe delete string, right? And delete string should deal just fine with a null pointer. Wonderful. So cargo build, cargo run, works, all works. Okay, so let's refactor a little bit because we have a bunch of duplicated code here. Now would be actually nice if we could like abstract away this this function here. Maybe we even can. So basically, I mean, the only difference in this function and this function above is that we call receive here, and here we call try receive, right? So it would be really nice if you could say something like, this is actually type deft, like that is type deft on the receive function, something like this, right? Actually, we would need a third function, so just let's copy this one out, and that is then of course our private function that is not pub and is not extern, and we just call it client context receive, I guess, and that is takes a type, and on this type we actually call t call, right? Something like that. Actually, we call t call and it takes a context, something like this. Maybe like so, I don't know. And then we need a trait, and we call that client context receiver function, and that implements a call that is takes a mutable client RPC client context, right? And that is the context. And what does it receive? Actually, it's not taking that, it's actually taking this, right? I guess. Or maybe not. Actually, it takes this client context, and it can actually also take. No, it's taking this one. Yeah, it takes a mutable reference to this one. So, mutable reference to this one, and what does it return? It returns, obviously, a result, like it returns exactly what this is returning. Okay, and then we can be more explicit here and can say, well, t is actually t is a client context receiver function, and then we can call t, and we call that receive. Okay. I'm not sure if this is working actually. I then need something like a struct that is the receive function, and then we can say impl client context receiver function for receive, right? Like so. And that then just calls context receive, which is just called like this. And we do the same again for try receive. try receive, and then we call try receive, right? And now in here, in the client context receive, we actually now we just return client context receive with a client context receive, no, with receive, like so. I wonder if that works. And that just takes the context and it takes the JSON C string, right? We just passed it through, and everything else should go away. And now I'm really interested if that even compiles. Like, I'm sure it won't, but why? A closing delimiter. Wrong number of type arguments. Expected 2, found 1. That is because I actually, like this result, that must be a Swiboe result, right? Everywhere. This must be try receive, like so. Interesting. So this did compile, and it does run. Wow, that is kind of fascinating to me. Look at that. That's beautiful. Yes, it works. Wow, that is really beautiful. It was working exactly the way I was expecting it to work, which is remarkable. It is really remarkable. And we can only do that through types, though. I guess we could also implement it as a function. Oh, let's do that for giggles real quick. So let me just commit that real quick. This commit we will undo later on, but basically what I would like to say is, well, how about we pass in do no that's actually, it's a good solution. Let's leave it like that and not mess around. Okay, so try receive is done. Where's the to do? Where's the to do? Oh, there it was. Try receive is done, so we only miss cancel. And cancel, of course, is also on the client context, and it's very simple. And how will it look? It will actually look very similar to wait. Oh, I should probably document a bunch of stuff here. So we added the try receive function, and it will look similar, but it doesn't block, right? Tries to read a partial result for the RPC resented by context. If no result is pending, will return immediately. Fills in JSON C string with the new result if one was pending. This has to be freed with Swiboe delete string. Yes, yes, perfect. Okay, and then here we would like to have essentially this one, but it's not context wait, it is context cancel. It takes a context and it does not return anything but a C API result, right? And it looks very similar it will actually consume. It will consume. Will it consume? Yes, it consumes. That's nice. It should consume. And I guess we just call context cancel. Try C API context cancel. And then we have C API result success, right? That should already be it. Let's see if it compiles. No need for mutable, true. It does compile. And then we can say cancels a streaming RPC and deletes the context. And I think that's probably already it. So where's wait? Here's wait. And now we have not only wait, we also have cancel. And return type is correct, but it now only takes a pointer to a client context. Okay. So the to-dos are all done. Of course, we still need a test. And can we modify an existing test? Probably not quite. Probably we have to set up a new test. So let's use this one. Test streaming cancelled RPC. Okay, actually this, oh right, did we actually mess cancelled? Did we already? Oh yeah, we have that, cool. So we can basically do something while self library Swiboe server context cancelled server context, right? Basically what we do now is why we're not cancelled. Oh, that's not Rust, it is Python. I is equal to 0. And then we increase I here. Why not? Who cares? So why we're not cancelled, we just send out results, right? And then as soon as we are cancelled, we just dump the last one, and we finish this RPC, right? Wonderful. And then what we do here is Swiboe new RPC. Yes, we wait that we're connecting, and then we call this RPC. That is also correct. And then here, what do we do? Let's say for I in range 10, we receive 10 partial results. This must be I. And then we actually call self OK, self library Swiboe client context cancel. We cancel the RPC now. And then we wait for it. We wait for it, and once we're done with that, you know what, I'm not interested in the results of that thing. Yeah, not interested. That is all the test I'm interested in. So, what happens? Whoa! It died. Why did it die? Swiboe client context wait. Interesting. Oh, wait. Ah, that's why, right? I cancel, right? And after canceling, client context is no longer valid. So I cannot wait on it. I either cancel it or I don't, right? So I cannot wait on it. It's done. I basically say I'm not interested in your result anymore. Yes, that's it. Okay, we're getting there. Error while writing, it says. That is also interesting. We have a real and honest bug now. So what do? We have a serving client, we connect that. Then we have a callback. In this callback, we check if we are cancelled. While we are not cancelled, we send out a partial result. Once we're cancelled, we actually we finish. Yeah, that seems right. And now we actually set up this RPC callback. So we register it, and then we have a client, and this client is connecting, and it is calling this RPC, getting back a client context. And then for 10 times, we receive from this client context, which should work. And then we cancel the context, and then we immediately disconnect the client and the serving client. And probably that is the issue, right? Because the serving client might still be inside of this loop, and then something inside of this loop might actually fail. And where is that? That is probably here, because we're trying to write, but we're already disconnecting down here. So basically what we would need is, we need to wait. Ooh, that's actually, how do you do that in Python? Basically what I would like to say is I would like to have something like, um, I finished the callback, something like that, and then say this should be true here. And then down here I would like to say, where's the disconnect? While not I finish the callback, sit here waiting, right? The problem is just that I finished the callback is actually modified from a different thread, right? This is running in a different thread. So I need some sort of atomic bool in Python. Is such a thing even possible? Atomic bool Python. Okay. So we can use a lock for that. Oh, what's that? Event? Event is good. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want. So threading event. Import threading. And then I can say basically where's my RPC? Here. I can say my event is, let's call it done event, and that is a threading event. And then here I can say, am I in the wrong function? Nope. I finished the callback, and here I can say event.set. And then down here I can actually say, well, let's finish your processing, and then we can disconnect. Event.wait. And it is not called event, it is of course called done event, because that is the name I chose. And now no more errors, and everything will work, right? Oh shit. Oh, sorry. So calling callback function asset equals Swiboe success result. So yeah, so the server context finish, that is actually, I mean, I cannot do that, right? If I'm cancelled, I have no way of actually returning anything. So just remove that, and then I can also say, well, last we don't need. Okay, still not there. Error while writing OS error. Mutex poison is definitely not a good thing. Let's move this here maybe. Okay, now we have a flaky test. That is really not good, right? It passed once up here, and now it's no longer passing because sometimes this fails. And I guess that might actually be a honest bug in Swiboe. Right? Our error that we're getting back from this call is actually 4, so it is error RPC done. Right? So we have a race condition between where we call this here, and so we check if the RPC is cancelled, but of course it might be that it's not cancelled here, but then it actually gets cancelled between like in this line or in this line before we actually execute the context update, and then we get the error that it is cancelled. So the self-OK here is a little too optimistic. We can actually do something like RV, like keep the return value, and then do a self assert RV is RPC, how's that called, Swiboe something result or success, Swiboe success. It can be Swiboe success, or it can be Swiboe something like done, right? That can be. But then if it is it true? I never know. Right? But if it is this one here, then actually the next time we're coming up here, this should actually terminate, right? So beautiful. Beautiful. So we got that. And now I think we're done. To-dos, Windows, and Unix domain sockets. Nothing I want to do in this iteration, and no comes. So we're done. Let's add a commit. Did I actually remove this other commit I made earlier? Yes. Wrapped try receive and cancel. And that's all client context. Try receive and cancel. Okay, now final look over the code. Fine. Private functions, we don't document. Fine. Look how beautiful all this code lines up. It's really nice. Okay, so I think this code looks pretty good, the Rust code. The Python code, I think actually the Swiboe one, this one looks pretty good either, right? Um, yeah, it's rather minimal. Um, it's rather minimal, and you can see the API. It's really clearly spelled out here. Um, of course, having a header like a .h file that contains this documentation would be even better. Not this documentation, but the one in here, right? That would be even better. But for now, we can live with that. I think that's fine. The test though is still a little messy, I would say. So first, I would like to try to reformat that using how's it called? Yet another Python formatter or something. Whoops. Yet another Python formatter. What command lines do you want? Style, no local style, verify, -I. So why is that not working? Um, yet another Python formatter in place. C client. Oh, we're already in here. Test.py. Now something happened, I guess. Oh yeah, it did some reformatting, and that generally looks better, I would say. Yeah, nice. That actually looks better, I would say. But then I still want to, like, I have all the C-types stuff in here. I would actually like to get rid of a bunch of, like, all those explicit references. So, for example, let's change that to saying from C-types import by ref. That is something that I definitely would like to import to make it a little easier on the eyes. Okay. What else do we use C types for? And definitely a couple of types, right? C char P. That is also very clear where that is coming from, so we don't actually need that. And I think that was probably all. Yes. Yeah, that's better, I would say. Much better. Then we don't need this, and we can reorder, and we run the formatting again. And that reads much better, I would say. Okay, now for giggles, I also run this yet another Python formatter on the Swiboe.py. I would like to see the difference. Well, ugh, you know, that is not really reading very nicely. But I guess everything is now below 80 chars. That is nice. And I guess it still reads good enough. Okay, let's run with that. Okay, then we can say, what can we say? That is actually cleaned up code. And what you know, we're done. We're done with the C C client API and with a low-level Python wrapper for that one. The question is now, um, so I'm not quite sure where to continue. One thing that definitely, like I already started working on reworking the RPC system to be more along the lines of what we've written down in our request for comments. That is something that we definitely need to look at, and I don't seem to find the time to do it outside of stream, but it's very complicated and I'm not sure about the actual design, so I'm not sure how well suited it is for the stream. The second thing that we could work on is a nice Python client, but that seems like the wrong thing to be doing right now because the changes to the RPC will also change the client, so we cannot really like it makes no sense to actually solidify a higher level API if the lower level API is not rock solid already. So I think that probably makes no sense to work on. And then the last thing that I could think of that is kind of orthogonal to everything is adding more features to the buffer plugin, right? Because right now in Swiboe you can open a file, but you cannot edit the file. Like you cannot add additional characters and you cannot delete characters and stuff like that. And eventually we of course need to modify buffers. And maybe it's time to actually start working on that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking. So, like the three things. The first one, which is not ideal, is a high-level Python API that we can work on. The second is reworking the RPC system to actually look more like the one that we describe in the request for comments. And the last one is working on the buffer plugin and then adding actually the functionality to modify buffers through the RPC system. Okay, um, I will now suggest this branch for merging, though I think we have to update on master. We have to update Aster again because Aster broke again with latest nightlies. So I'll look into that real quick and then I'll suggest this branch for merging. And we'll continue with whatever we see fit tomorrow. Okay, thanks everybody for tuning in and I'll talk to you tomorrow.